Hey, how's it going? Well, that came out funny. Hey, hey. You can see how this is gonna go already, right? I have some signs I would like you to look at. Um, I didn't really size the writing on the whiteboard very well. I only redid that like 40 times. So when I get done, I guess I'll do it 40 more. Make it more legible for next time. Okay, so these are yesterday's cards because I'm just going to call this one Get the Let Out or Can't Get the Let Out because I've been moving so slowly all day. You'd think I was a tripod or a unileg. I don't know. Anyway, this came across a little bit differently. So the first card I pulled, more words I have to say. It's been it's just been an interesting like 6 months in my life, okay? My life. And a lot of emotions have been happening and a lot of discoveries about myself when it comes to interacting with my person. I'm finding out all kinds of things that I'm just not necessarily so crazy about, but he talks and he listens, and he doesn't leave. That's me. I get frustrated. I'm like, I'm gone. I can't deal with this anymore. It's terrible. Like I said, learning things about myself. So, had a lot on my mind. And I didn't used to always think this, but now I always do. I feel like whatever's going on with me, there's at least several other components in, like, society, culture, where the same kind of thing is happening to someone else. It'll probably look different, but same kind of stuff. So usually I, attempt, okay, calm, I'm cooking, so I'm hearing what I'm cooking going a little nuts next to me. I already did it. I just had to turn down the flame, not a big deal. So anyway, I got 3 cards rather than 1. Or actually, I just pulled this one, Magician's Sword, okay? So, Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. This is the deck that I got the next 3 cards I'm going to show you from. So anyway, pulled this card and I was like, okay, cool, 1 card. Magician's Sword, and the subtitle is Confidence in Your Magic. So, on a personal level, with taking into consideration what I said at the start here about having the 6 months of just I'll call it unaccustomed activity, because usually activity is on the low end energy wise in my life, and that's all I really want to say about that. But it wasn't low energy, so I've been up and down, and it's mostly because of me. Like, I'm the one that's erratic. Also, I'm finding out. Interesting. But anyway, I was like, can I do this? Or am I going to blow it? Because, like, I kind of been waiting for this to happen with the person, like, a long time. I don't want to blow it. And, I just marvel at the fact that I've behaved like such an ass already, and he's still around. So, and like, that's not all that's going on. It's not just interacting with him. It's stuff that we're doing together, and also that I'm doing with other people that I'm finding is not my forte. Like, it's a struggle. It's a struggle because it's too much like work, and I strove for years to get had to work for so many years for not very much money usually, and most of the time not nice people that you worked for or that you had to deal with because of the choice of employment that I made. I had reasons, but I was all too ready to be completely finished doing it. One of the blessings of getting ill enough that they're like, you shouldn't work, and I'm like, okay. And so it's been since like 1990 that I've been sick, but I've had ups and downs with that too. Like, I have remission, and then all of a sudden something will go haywire, and my symptoms are never normal. It's always some kind of weird thing. That's just the way it goes, because the disease is weird. But anyway, it's always something. So it's like a constant management of my own energy, and then having to work that and weave that into whatever else I'm doing in life. It's very complicated, but you know what? We all do it. We may not think of it in the same terms, but I have a lot of time on my hands to sit around and fine line these things. So while all of this is happening, I'm constantly questioning myself. Can I do this? Am I up to this? Am I overdoing it? Am I overpowering myself as a person? A lot of self-examination going on. Like I said, I don't want to blow this. So that I felt had to do a lot with me. But like I said, I bet there's a whole lot of other situations and people that what I said just now could completely apply to. They don't have to be the same at all. They can just be kind of parallel, which I think is what happens all the time. So, bringing it outside of myself and still also staying there too, straddling worlds, being in two dimensions at once. I feel like society in general, but also my main focus a lot of times, politics, because it affects so many of us, and it reaches so far outside of the bounds of DC or a government office. There's nuance, there's layers, there's texture. Everybody's dealing with a lot of things, like I was just saying. There's a lot going on in our lives. But in that arena of public service, public office, the dynamic between government and politicians and people that are voting and people that are trying to get into politics, I'm thinking specifically of a debate that just began. I don't know if it was from today though, because it just came on the autoplay on YouTube, but it sounded like it's current. And it was Democratic candidates who have been either not added to ballots for a primary, Democratic primary, or they were on it and they got taken off. And they're not happy about it, and neither am I, because as they pointed out, this is what happened to Bernie. And one of the people in that debate is Marianne Williamson, who just keeps trying, and good for her. Because we're not getting a fair selection, and they don't get treated fairly. They just, you accumulate enough signatures in that to get to appear in the debate, and also on the ballot. I think you have to do the same thing, is accumulate a certain amount of signatures, and I believe they had those. They got those, and they're just being kept off. So I will remind, sorry, you don't need to be pointing fingers, but I will remind people that before Joe Biden and Kamala Harris became the nominees and were the ones running for president, Bernie was winning in the polls. All the people, like, we love him. We want to do what he wants us to try to do. I don't think it's anything at all like some people try to make it out as, like he's going to get in office and the whole country's going to turn into a communist paradise. That's ridiculous. We have a system. It's made so one dude cannot go in there and change everything, even though one guy who was accidentally president a couple of presidents ago wants to get back in and try to do just that. And people are losing their minds that he's saying what he's saying, and they're getting so afraid. And I say, broadcast him saying it. In fact, say more. Goad him, people. You know, draw him out so that he will come out and say more. Yes, it's ugly and harsh and offensive a lot of times, but the thing is it's often a confession. So I say, more talk, do worse in court. Awesome. And also, the more people hear him saying the crazy crap he's saying, like, I'm not worried that people are gonna run to vote for this guy. I'm not worried at all. In fact, I think they're gonna run away. So definitely, Trump, keep talking. And you know what's behind all of the behavior with that guy is the ego. And what's happening right now is his is fully fragmented and shattering because of all of these court cases that are on him. He caught them. He can't let go because they're real. I don't live in the parallel universe where he's innocent of all things and all of the crap that comes out of his mouth sounds like golden angel talk. I don't live there. But that's because I knew who the guy was way before The Apprentice, which seems to be the time that most people in the MAGA kind of noticed him. And what that tells me is that there's a lot of people of like mind following him, because often reporters will ask him or his supporters a question about whatever illegality allegations are against him, and they won't believe it, and he'll deny everything, even though I don't want to get wrapped up in that. Like, I'll just be going around in circles talking about it, but you know what I'm saying? Mainly the thing is he's losing cohesion because his stuff's finally coming back to bite him on the butt. Like, that's what it is. I don't know how many lifetimes he lived acting the way he acts and got away with it every time, but I guess this is the one where his number is up. And I'm not upset about it. I mean, it's part of the whole, like, Matrix thing, you know? It's part of it. Like, we're getting all into it and taking it all seriously, but I gotta laugh because he thinks he can just go out and say this stuff, like he said that thing about shooting somebody. You know, you don't want to know a secret? I've been waiting for whoever who's dead because of him that does not have anything to do with COVID to come out, because I know there's at least 2 people that are dead because of this guy. Now, I'm not saying he put his hands on them physically, but I'm not saying he didn't. I don't know the circumstances, because I'm sure he made certain it's really hard to find those out. But he must be afraid that it's gotten out there enough that I know enough to talk about it, so that's gotta bother him some, and it's gotta feel completely destabilizing to see your whole world changing from the safe place it used to be to now you're under a lot of scrutiny and people are not buying it anymore, or not as many. So, and if that's happening with him, it's happening with a bunch of other people too. Like, I cannot sit here and say that this is not happening to me. Did you hear what I was saying at the beginning? I'm making all these revelations or finding them out about myself, and it's not 100% great. You live and you learn. And the final card I pulled was Falling Angel, Spiritual Narcolepsy. Well, you know, when swerving and like red Solo cups and codeine drank, and slow rap were like a big deal. And there were like some Texas rappers, like that white dude with the giant flashy grill. I can't remember his name. But then there was this other guy that came along, and you have to understand the context that I saw this through. This is because I was watching MTV raps or whatever, like watching MTV. It's the only reason I even knew who these people were, and the only reason I was watching it because it was like the best thing at that time of the day. But one came along, a rapper from Texas, black dude, and his name was Mike Jones, and I believe his first release was called Who is Mike Jones? And I bring that up because, let me just make a complete left turn here, or right turn, whatever. I'm just going to go completely off of what I was just saying, because that was just an example to highlight the Caucasian Christian, overly Christian in my opinion, current Speaker of the House of Representatives, a guy named Mike Jones. Another Mike Jones where people were all, who's Mike Jones? He's got some ideas about religion and who should have it and who doesn't and who needs it and what they need it for. And I think it's interesting that this little Joe Blow that just came out of wherever, to use one of Trump's terms. sorry. But he came out of nowhere, this guy. And he has some ideas about religion and how everyone should have some and have it his way. And I feel like, so you think everybody should just like change their life and model it after your weird one because the way everyone else is currently living their lives is unacceptable to you and it makes you uncomfortable? Dude, too bad. That's living in the world with people. Living in the world with people does not mean you come in with your ideas and impose them on other people that, hello, a bunch of us are saying go away, we want nothing to do with it, you're unacceptable, we don't want you or your ideas, go, you go now. And so when I pulled this card, Falling Angel, with the subtitle of Spiritual Narcolepsy, that is who I thought of, and that is the situation. And I feel like, to bring up Trump again, because apparently he has to be all over this reading, he was a huge backer of this guy. Now, I don't know who directed Trump to this guy, because let's face it, Trump is not a religious guy, okay? All you have to do is listen to him speak on religion. If he's asked any questions about it, because he doesn't know anything, his answer is it's too personal to talk about, which you have heard no one else ever say, so you know it's baloney. Or at least that is my feeling. So, I mean, thank you, DJT, for your service. I mean, your part in the Matrix, where you're out there draining the swamp and finding yourself in the bottom of it, and then also your followers not even noticing that this is the case, but that's a whole thing that has to go on. They gotta live it out, live through it, and have the experience of it, and everybody else has to witness it and have their experience with it. That's just part of the Matrix. That's just the way it goes. I mean, it's a better way of looking at it than, oh my God, this is totally real. It's the only thing, dread, horror. Ah, like, no. Isn't life stressful enough? Like, don't you want an out? And it's not fake. I 100% believe in like reincarnation and the Matrix or the school or whatever you want to call life on Earth. And I don't believe it's just one thing. Everybody's got their subjective truths. So, like, the parallel dimensions, I don't know where people think they are, but parallel to me suggests that shit's right next to you. So that's what I think is happening in, like, real life right now. Like, oh my God, these Trump people, do you hear what they're saying? They're so crazy. They totally believe it. You think they're not saying the same thing about the not Trump people? Anyway, I've also pulled a card from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. And the card I pulled was Black Egg. So, I feel two ways about this card today. Usually it's a card of optimism, and it's surprising because black, the color, is generally not thought of in a positive light, right? So, light right making black look light. I think I can do that one. I think the commercial no longer exists for the Light Bright toy. Look it up. So I'm going to read you the good egg part from the guidebook. Speaking from Black Egg, speaking from an authentic voice, the truth. The black egg contains one of life's essential treasures, the truth. Inside of it resides no confusion, excuses, small talk, noise, or lies. Not even white ones. Don't even try it. The last sentence, this sentence is not in the book. This living and breathing vessel harbors only that which rings true. So it's a truth detector. I don't know why I just thought of it filled with baking soda in the refrigerator, keeping things clean on the up and up and not smelling fishy, I guess. Thank you for that. Okay. Where was I? When this essence is in balance, we speak slowly and clearly. I know it sounds like I have something in my mouth. I do. These teeth, they're fake. So now you know. When this essence is in balance, we speak slowly and clearly. We are drawn to activities like writing, reading, teaching, singing, or perhaps public speaking. Sounds draw us in. Books draw us in. The concept of truth itself draws us in. We start asking questions like, what do I know to be true about myself? Well, maybe you have to go outside of yourself to discover that. Because that's where I found some stuff. Just saying. What do I know to be true about myself? And what is true about the world? That's a hard one. With all of the subjective truths, what single thing can you say in answer to that question? I don't know. I'm not gonna break my brain on it right now. I gotta finish what I'm doing here. I can break my brain later. When the energy of the black egg is not yet accessed, we speak from an unsure place. We say things others want to hear. I hate that. Gossip. I don't hate that. Or repeat stories to justify our subpar behavior. I mean, okay. I would qualify that a little bit by saying we repeat stories to make ourselves look good, but I guess this amounts to the same thing. Anyway, or because we have nothing to say. It's just a space filler. I know that happens. I'm not saying it's bad or wrong, just that it happens. We might even try to convince ourselves that we have no inner truth at all. Well, that sounds bleak. The energy of the black egg hovers and waits for us to reconnect. So it's just sitting there waiting for you to stop messing around and come back to the truth, basically. Can you imagine this thing just like hanging around waiting for your nose not to Pinocchio? And inward, too, like the Pinocchio nosing. Because I'm thinking, man, it's also like, how are you going to tell the truth if you can't even tell the truth to yourself? Come on. So, let me go back to what I was saying there. It is available in every moment, in every situation. It is the epicenter of truth, the birthplace of our voice. Doesn't it look like a little tiny kernel of truth down in there? Sort of, what is the word I want? Swallowed in all those layers of, what is it? Half-truths? Sort of truths? It gets truer the closer it gets to the center. Something to think about. That's what that's all about. There's more, actually. The black egg and the fifth chakra. The subtle essence of this card resides at the base of the throat, at the Vishuddha chakra. The ancient sages saw this center as the hub that governs our speech and expression. Vishuddha translates as especially pure. Ooh, double fine. The balance of this center is important for all of us, but is essential for writers, editors, musicians, and teachers. Well, I know that's true of the artists. The teachers, I mean, I have to give them a lot of leeway because they put up with a lot of crap, but they're just people too. You gotta watch out for teachers because they're not like always the safest bet if you want to like protect your child from certain things. Just an observation. I do not have the children, so I don't have to worry about that stuff. I just have to worry about all of the other threats in the world. All the other pervs and weirdos. Alright, pervs and weirdos. You're not all terrible. I'm one too. Which one? A perv or a weirdo? Maybe all of the above. What do you think of them apples? So, the numbers on these cards I did not address. 37 is the number on this card, and this is the number 19 card. If you numerology both of these, as in 3 plus 7 is 10, and 1 plus 9 is 10, independently, you end up with a 1 and a 0, which I don't know exactly the context for this, but it did pop into my head when I started doing this, and it was the 1 and the 0. There's no 10, okay? Something else I saw today, and I already knew this, but I think I was just shown it to be reminded of it. In a tarot deck, and even this oracle deck, it kind of shadows a tarot deck. But in a tarot deck, there's a progression, and there are steps, and it basically is a way to sort of parallel your life path. And in that deck, and in a lot of other places, the suite goes from 1 to 10. Well, 1 through 9 are numbers that are like actual numbers, and then 10 is something that got added later by someone in order to assist with trading, I think, is why there became a 10. Or to just like make a decimal point so that there's a way to go into higher numbers. If I was understanding this right, again, not a professional, certainly not math person, so boulder salt, I guess. But the thought that came into my head about the 10 was, when it comes to the hero's journey, or the progression from 1 to 9 and also 10, the 1 and the 0 were like the magic number, the God number, the unpredictable number, the number that we had to put there to expand the original, I guess, purpose of the first 9. And so with the 1 and 0 just super loud, I heard the Alpha and the Omega, and I'm like, okay. So now you know. And this one here, number 58, 5 and 8 are 13. 1 and 3 are 4. What this said to me about that number was, in the shattering of the ego, you're basically, you're clean slating your life. It's not just anyone in like a situation that I might have talked about here. I think it's another one of those, it's happening to everyone right now kind of situations. Which is why I made the adjustment to what my board is saying there. And I don't know, I'm just going to read it off because I don't want to move the phone again. Many adjustments need to be made right now because we're living in a new world. Like, we may not have really noticed it, but changes are happening. Change is happening. And I'm not a big fan of the whole telling people, wake up, wake up. But you're going to miss it if you don't like pay attention. So I guess in a sense, wake up and notice this. If you want to see consideration, you may need to show some. A smile delivered with love. But truly, if you want people to love and respect you and be loyal to you, you have to do the same in return. It's called reciprocation, and it's what most of us would enjoy, would appreciate. And just speaking for myself, nobody's getting my respect or admiration without doing something to make me want to give it to them. I'm not saying that I expect you to, I don't want you to earn it for me, but I need to be impressed by it in some way before I'm just gonna throw my whole loyalty behind somebody else. Because what I've found is me is who I can trust. You know, I mean, I can trust other people to do something I don't intend them to do or didn't expect them to do, which may not have worked out to be the best thing sometimes, which is the reason why I have the reticence in the first place, but I don't think that's unique to me either. Anyway, said a bunch of stuff and now I'm done. Thank you and good night. Shut it. It is all wrong, but it's still okay. Bye.